Hello again. Something different this time. We're not in my shed or the garage. We've gone up to Manchester. We got on a boat, went over. Freezing over here. I've got two jumpers. I've got a fluffy jacket and a heavy jacket. So we're back at Shrigley. We have got the Cosworth lump on the floor. That was heavy. There was two of us to bring that in. So we brought all the bits and pieces over. This is the bits I got from Burton. So we're going to, Andy started, he's in the machine room. He's just making his way through bits and pieces. So we'll go and have a quick chat. But what we'll do, I'm not going to go into detail about what he's doing because he's doing it and he's done his own video for his channel. So if I put a link onto his channel and then you can watch and see, he's had to machine the pistons down. He's had to do a lot of work with the valves and springs. There's been a lot of problems with the springs and valves. There's just been just how he's done it. So I've got, I think we've got the rest of the day to get the engine finished. He's quite confident we'll get it done. And then I can try and get back to Jersey, but it's snow and the ferries have been disrupted, so it might be a bit of a nightmare. So I just love coming up here. This is the 2.5 litre engine that he's building from bits and pieces of other engines. I mean, the throttle bodies are huge on it and the pistons are amazing. There's just stuff everywhere. Everything seems to have a story. So we'll pop in and have a quick chat with Andy. Oh, he's on the phone. No, right, Andy's busy working on the engine. We've just come in and he's just got it on the bench. All right, Andy, how's it going? Just
heavy that, innit?
Yeah, that is heavy. We've just both lifted it in. I don't know what we're going to do when the head's on it. We'll have to get some more of your mates around to help us do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Andy, just briefly, just quick description of what you're doing. Just explain the pistons quickly, because I know they've been on the lathe.
We've got your new pistons, and we've just topped them in the lathe so that they're all the same height as the original ones. So we're not changing anything. We're just, because you were dead happy with its performance. It was a cracking lump on it. Yeah,
and it was running right when it was running. So
we're just
if we don't change anything,
yeah, we're not changing anything. We will measure the compression ratio when we've got the head on. We'll go in through the plug and CC it. But yeah, head's all got new springs, new valve, new guides, new buckets, new valve caps, titanium valve caps, and we think we might have found a bit of an issue as to maybe why the valve spring broke, because it was on full lift, it was virtually coil bound. But that's all on my video if they want to watch any of that. So
yeah,
if any of your viewers want to.
Sorry, Andy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to Andy's video from his channel, because he's gone into great detail about what he's done and all that. It explains it a lot better, and it is very interesting. And there's a lot of things I mean, I've put engines together, but I just sort of swap parts over. But he's a clever bloke and he knows what he's doing.
Oh, mate!
So I'm not going to stop you, Andy, because we have got a time. There's a lot to do. Yeah, I'm helping by I make the tea. So I keep Andy filled up with tea, and I help lift stuff on the table. Gretty, she said she's going to thank you when you fit the engine, when you come over to fit the engine.
Oh no, it's too early for me that. I only got involved with this because I thought you were bringing Gretty with you.
Well, maybe next time. Well, it shouldn't be a next time, should there?
Yeah, no.
It should be all right now. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it should be all right.
Right, good stuff, Andy. Well, cheers for that. We'll, I suppose we'll carry on with the video once I'm putting the engine in the car and getting it done. So,
in and hopefully get it back together today.
Nice one. You're a star. Cheers, mate.
All right, pal.
Right, we're back from the UK now. I've just emptied all the bits out of the boot. It's huge, the boot in this. So we tried getting that and the imp engine in, but it wouldn't fit. So, yeah, that's an imp engine there. Well, that's just about in. I've just got to wiggle it a bit more. That's probably the easiest engine I've ever fitted into a gearbox, especially with a twin plate clutch. It just fell in. So well pleased with that. Now I've got to take the oil filter off. I'll put all the bits back on. The first thing I've got to do is the exhaust manifold, because I had to rock the engine over to get the exhaust manifold off. So I need to put that on first before I do the engine mounts. And unfortunately, the engine mounts are identical, but slightly different. They're identically made, but slightly different distances. So I've got to work out which one goes on which side. So I'll have to fiddle about that. Unfortunately, not marked. Right, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. I'm well chuffed with that. Let's get some bolts in it. So I've got a gearbox jack with some wheels under the front of the engine on blocks of wood. These are all loose now, so there's no weight on those. So I can untie them, get rid of the crane, and get the exhaust manifold on. That's the exhaust manifold on. That was relatively easy. I was quite surprised about that. Mainly because to get it off, I tried getting it off first before I took the engine out, and realised you have to loosen the engine mounts and rock the whole engine over to get it out. So I did that before I put the engine mounts on. So the engine mounts are on, the exhaust manifold's on, and I'm just putting things on now. I think I'll do the starter motor next. But we're getting there. That's the alternator mounted. The alternator took me about a day to mount last time I did it. I just didn't have any give in the adjustment. So it wouldn't go small enough to get the belt on. So I had to, it was a nightmare. I had to put the belt on, then put the alternator on, and it was so hard to do. So what I've done is I've just cut this in the middle and extended it by 30mm. So I put a bigger belt on, and that all seems to be all right. I might have to get John to make me another one of these slightly longer, because it's a little bit on the stretch side now. If I have to keep adjusting it, might be a bit of problematic. I don't know if it's worth getting another earth and taking it to the chassis as well. But it all seemed to work fine over the rally, which was good. So I think I haven't had any more smoke coming out of the bonnet, so fingers crossed, hopefully that's not going to happen anymore. Right, next job. What I thought I'd do is do the oil whilst there's no plumbing pipe work in there. I've got an old cam belt that I put around the dry sump pump, and turn it over with the drill. So it's been pumping the oil around. I've got to make sure everything's got oil pressure, so I'll keep going. Usually you can hear it sort of slows down when the pressure builds up, because it's struggling to pump the oil through all the small holes in it. But I'll keep pumping, make sure there's oil pressure on the oil pressure gauge. But what I'll have to do is, it's hard to see the gauge whilst I'm doing the drill. So I think I'll set my camera up so it records, and I can check, make sure it's got oil pressure. Right, I think we're just about ready to go. I've put all the bits back on, throttle cable, induction side. Had a bit of an issue with the crank sensor plug, because some of them were labelled and some weren't, but I've always known blue to be for the water temp. That was the only blue plug on all of them. So I connected it up to there's a temperature probe down there that it fitted on, so I put it on there, and then there was another one that wasn't marked, so I connected that to the crank sensor. But I looked back over the video of when I took the engine out of the car, and I could see the blue plug on the top. So all the others are pretty straightforward, because these were a batch of 4 and it goes from shorter to longer, so that's all self-explanatory. The coil pack, there's throttle position sensor, which was a totally different plug to the rest. Air temp sensor, which is just there. I think that's it. Oh, the alternator, what a nightmare. Because I put a bigger belt on and I had to extend the rod. So I actually welded, that's why it's got primer on it, I've welded a piece in the middle because it's got reverse threads on one side and normal threads the others. So you can rotate that to make it bigger or smaller rather than having to take off and do it. Because I spent a day trying to get the alternator on before I was doing all sorts. So when the rad was out, I put a bigger belt on and I thought, this is perfect, I'll just extend that. And yeah, it'd make life a lot easier. But then I tried putting the bottom hose on and it wasn't going on because the alternator was in the way. The blades were so close to the belt there, to the pipe. So I've just nipped out and bought another belt that was 20mm shorter than the last one, which, as long as it's, I mean, that's quite a gap there. I can't see that moving over. Well, I hope it doesn't. And antifreeze, I've just topped up with water and antifreeze. So what I want to do now is, I've not tried starting it yet, so I'll set the camera up. I'll get the I've put the belt around the dry sump pump. I've got an old cam belt. So I got the oil pressure up, which took a bit. I had to take the hose off the oil pump and spin the pump over, and then I had to put the front of the car on the floor, help gravity, just to bleed it all through, and then connect it all back up. Primed it, so I got it up to 20 psi, and now I've put the belt back on. So what I want to do is, it's had major surgery, so there could be anything wrong with it. So I'm going to fire it up. If it fires up, then I'll shut it down again. And then it's getting a bit late now. I'm not going to leave it ticking over. I've got to run it up until it's warm, running temperature, and then drive it. I've got to do like 30-40 miles. So I'll just fire it up, make sure it starts, sounds okay, then I'll shut it down. I've still got like the strop brace to do. Got my work to do tomorrow, so I might do that before I go on to that. Right, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It's nerve-wracking because there could be, I've checked and checked. There's nothing. Oh, well, I've got antifreeze coming out there, leaking out somewhere. Right, we'll go and check that out. Right, that was just a loose Jubilee clip, so I've just nipped it up. Hopefully that, who knows, that's why I want to start it up, and I'll get the engine, see if I can get the engine running first, and then I'll check, when I warm it up, before I take it for a drive, I'll turn it off and then go and check that it's everything's where it should be. Right, and plus tomorrow morning, if there's a big puddle of water or oil on the floor, I know there's a problem. Right, let's go and try and start it. Looks like it's trying. I'm going to stick a jump pack on it and see if that helps. I've changed the plugs, so fingers crossed that'll help. If I do that and the jump pack, so I know before if it didn't start, it would do the plugs. So, and I'm guessing with this probably had oil and stuff in the bores and what have you. All right, well, I'll try it. No, I don't know what it is. Right, I've just swapped a couple of leads around because they've got different numbers on them. So I'll try it now. Don't know, I'll give it a go. result. I should have not looked at the numbers on the leads. I should have looked at where the leads were going. So I just swapped 3 and 4 round, and it works. Beauty. I'm well chuffed now, but I've got to get out of it. It's smoking. I'm chuffed to bits now. And it sounds sweet. I've got to take it for a run, but it's going to be, I need to get it warm first before I run it, and it's getting late, and it's not fair on the neighbours, and we've got kids up here as well. So, yeah, one thing I did notice, I thought I'd just check the level in the dry sump tank, and it was right down. So I'd put like 8 litres of oil in there, or 7 litres. And after I primed it, the level was quite high still. It was where it should be. So this is the running in oil. So after trying to start it, before it started, I just thought I'd double check the oil level, and it was right down. So maybe it helped me not starting. I think there should have been enough oil in there, but just in case. So anyway, I topped it up. And then once I swapped the leads over, it started straight away. But I'm going to buy some spare spark plugs, because it does have a tendency to wall up plugs. A massive thank you to Burton Power for supplying all the parts I needed to get this engine rebuilt, and a massive thank you to Andy at Shrigley for doing the rebuild for me. The parts from Burton, I was looking all over the internet for different bits. I found pistons here and valves here, and so I was going to lots of different people to get lots of different parts. And then I came across Burton for, I think it was the pistons I was looking for. And I noticed that they did the valve springs and the valves and the gaskets and everything. So I just got everything from Burton. And I think I ordered it on the Monday. And because it's Jersey, they estimated arrival would be the following Monday. I told them I was in a rush. And I got on the Wednesday before the estimated Monday. So they came in a couple of days to Jersey. That is really good. And Andy he knows what he's doing, and it was like he put new buckets in. I still have to pay Andy for the buckets. He put, what else did? Oh yeah, and so to get the shim gap correct, he did some work on the valves and set them in more. It took a bit off the top of the pistons so the compression ratios can be right, and it was just amazing to watch him work, because he just knows what he's doing. I've rebuilt engines before where I've taken bits off and put brand new bits back on. I wouldn't have a clue. Putting different bits in or knowing if it's right or wrong, I'm just replacing bits. So he knows his stuff. So yeah, Shrigley Engineering. He's a bit reluctant to do it at the start because of he loves doing his IMS. But yeah, so thanks to Bern, thanks to Andy, and yeah, I'm just blessed really to be able to use these people and parts.